So our last event where we were all together in 2020, it was very shortly thereafter that the world was hit by a global pandemic. Nobody has a script, nobody has kind of a book of what to follow to get through this, so it was pretty terrifying.
When we got the notice that we were going to be pausing our in-person activities for the health of everybody involved, we were not quite sure how this was going to go.
We got the news that everything was going to be shut down for 2 weeks.
We all figured 2 weeks. We can do this for 2 weeks, this will be fun.
Initially we thought it was a 2-week short haul. It became a very long haul, and we just had to keep on going. So CLL operates, over 30 residential homes. These are people's homes. You can't shut them down. There's nowhere for them to go. It's where they live. So we had to maintain our staffing supports in all of our locations. And we closed down those services we could. Unfortunately, we had to because we needed the staff resources in the homes that we can't shut down.
We would need to pivot and create program in the home and try and create a sense of normalcy. So for me, that moment was very much like, oh my goodness, what are we going to do? Like, how are we going to do this? How are we going to support people well without their programs, without the things they love, without being able to go shopping, without being able to go to the bank?
That first few weeks was hard because I missed them so much.
I said to somebody very early in, I am so grateful that I have a job to go to get up every morning and leave my house and do something. And by the same token, I am terrified that I have a job too because I have to get up every morning and leave my house and go and do something.
You just think about that. The world did not shut down. We were essential from day one, and there's no opportunity to curl up at home and say, okay, well, I can cope with this for a little while and I'll be safe in the privacy of my own house. No, no.
They needed us, and they needed us to be strong, and they needed us to be strong so that they could thrive.
We immediately became worried that the people that we support would suffer, their mental and physical health would suffer with having fewer connections in the community. And as a volunteer coordinator, I worried that the program that we had spent so much time and energy building and relationships would be lost. And so I immediately started to strategize about how we could keep our volunteers engaged in a way that made sense and that fulfilled all the guidelines while being able to maintain those relationships with the people that we supported.
If you had told me 3 years ago that I would be running a Zoom class on a computer out in the world, I'd be like, yeah, whatever, right, yeah, sure.
I had no idea that technology would support us to do this and that it would be so easy to bring this into home and reduce the feeling of separation.
The first moment I knew that it was working was when I received an email from a coworker telling me that the person that she supported had visited with her best buddy on Zoom, and they both had smiles on their faces. And in fact, at one time, the number of people that put their hand up and said, I want to volunteer to do a virtual activity became overwhelming. And we had people volunteering 7 days of the week, morning, night, evening, in such a wide range of fun educational activities that were really keeping the people that we support connected to the activities that they were used to enjoying, the people and the faces that they were used to seeing, and in many cases something new.
Teardrop in my eye, country roads, take me home to the place I belong.
We had Wendy doing yoga, and Marin doing Zumba, and Jesse doing trivia, and Jacob doing guitar and sing-along, and so on and so on and so on.
We were able to engage in many of the wonderful activities that CLL put on, such as karaoke, Glee Club, Adventure Club, Reading Club.
We did some coloring, we did some scrapbooking. Several of the people who weren't able to contact families, we'd get pictures of some of the things they were doing, and I would do them in Publisher on a piece of paper so they could write a letter on the back and send these pictures to their mom or their friends or their girlfriends.
We did a tea party as well, All the ladies got dressed up in hats and gloves, and my shift partner that night, she made little sandwiches, and you know, those kinds of things kept us going, right?
There were definitely some great moments of hilarity, just like we have in our in-person events. You know, we'd giggle about some of the moves or the poses we were doing. Someone would bring their mom or their brother and introduce them to the whole Zoom room. I got to know parents that I have never ever met before.
So the first 15 minutes, sometimes 20, was just you telling me what song you want and saying hi to this person you haven't seen in, you know, a couple weeks at least. So it was always the chat about how are you, and I love your shirt, and you look great, and I like this song, and so I'd be writing down the songs and trying to keep track. As I kept saying to people, you can sing like nobody's listening, because nobody is, except the people right around you, because you're muted. So you can sing as loud as you want, you can sing the wrong words.
Sometimes I'd just find myself being like totally goofy, like just being like, oh, just put on a green wig and let's just be goofy today because it's St. Patrick's Day, or you know, let's go in the driveway and make a video for CLL about how we're gonna just all be together, right? Like with a feather boa and, you know, 4 ladies behind me dancing, you know? I felt like every day I just had to pull it out of me to be strong for people and to just laugh, because it was the only way we were going to get through.
Many advocacy groups that I was connected with stopped. Yours at NVA and Communal in London continued, which was a blessing. In the midst of pandemic, NVA started the Staying Connected Network, and it has now grown from small to a big community where we've actually connected with Australia. Then we started off with various advocacy groups here in Ontario. Then we started, and then we continued having more people, which is like we have Manitoba, we have Saskatchewan, we have Alberta, we now have Ireland. So it's so fabulous that we could still participate, we could still work on various initiatives and activities, because the work that we're doing at NVA that I've participated is very needed to continue.
You know, although the past 2 years is kind of a big blur, and it feels as though we were absent from so many things, which we were, we still had that community support. People still allowed us to continue inspiring possibilities every single day. They did that through donations, they did that through commitment of volunteer time. They just continued to rally around us. But that doesn't end today. The work that we do continues, and the support that we need will never go away. There's always wishes for people that we can grant. There's always a role for everybody in this room to play, to make sure that we continue to be a vibrant community where everybody belongs. And we look forward to an ongoing relationship. And thank everybody for never abandoning us for the past 2 years. That's huge.